Good evening and welcome to The Week That Was, your go-to source of news you'll actually watch. As always, we have a lot to cover, so let's get right down to it. An iPhone burst into flames on an airplane headed to Alaska. You know, I guess Siri really couldn't bear the thought of being that close to Sarah Palin. I know I couldn't. Amazon is lobbying Congress to use drones for commercial purposes because nothing says great customer service. Like a robot that can bring you your favorite stuff or kill you if you don't subscribe to Prime. Good news is, even if that happens, hashtag safer than a Trump rally. An Easter bunny got into a fight with a child's dad at a New Jersey mall. Authorities were, well, upset until they found out it was Billy Bob Thornton getting ready for his sequel to Bad Santa, Bad Bunny. The good news, hashtag safer than a Trump rally. This week it was revealed that Jeb Bush loaned $250,000 to his own campaign in its final weeks. That's like a Girl Scout buying all her own cookies in hopes that maybe this year she'll be the troops' top seller, even though we all know she'll never sell as many as her big sister. An Oreo factory laid off 600 of its workers this week. You know, I guess it's true that you can't stop with just one. Pope Francis has finally joined Instagram under the name Franciscus. When asked why he didn't join sooner, he said he thought life wasn't all about the likes. That is until hashtag Jesus received 7.5K likes for a tweet that said, "Sup." A St. Patrick's Day poll found that Americans more often chose to drink alcohol during good times rather than bad times. You know, I guess if that's the case, then my dad must always be having the time of his life. The good news, my house is still hashtag safer than a Trump rally. Fox announced that it will air The Passion, a musical about the last days of Jesus Christ, but in a modern setting. Chris Daughtry was cast to play Judas, who was known for his betrayal to Jesus. You know, clearly Chris knows a thing or two about betrayal, since the American public betrayed him by voting him off during American Idol Season 5. Marco Rubio dropped out of the Republican primary race after he lost his home state of Florida. Sad loss. That's like a partner cheating on you and then finding out that they cheated on you with Donald Trump. Legal marijuana sales will hit $23 billion within the next 4 years. That's a new high. North Korea. Hashtag safer than a Trump rally. And now, before we go, it's time for our Kanye West Tweet of the Week. This time, it's about Instagram. Apparently, Kanye was thinking about joining the site, but only under one condition. And I quote, "No one can ask me or try to tell me what to Instagram. It's my art." It seems as if our favorite egotistical celebrity is upset because people are telling him what to tweet. Well, I got news for you, Kanye. There is no one that can come up with all the crazy stuff on your Twitter account other than yourself. And on that note, we'll be right back.
Hi everybody, I wanted to come onto the show today to tell you my hashtag true opinions on the 2016 presidential election. Right now, my favorite candidate and secret dream man, Bernie Sanders, is losing to leader of the robot uprising, Hillary Clinton. And it made me so upset that I made it my Snapchat story for the past 3 days. So because my older brother told me that I only get my opinions from the internet and don't have any original thoughts of my own, this is my BuzzFeed top 17 reasons to hashtag feel the burn, sponsored by Domino's. Number 1 is absolutely free college. Even though my parents pay for my entire college bill, I don't want to have to pay anything if they disown me for failing my leisure studies classes. Number 2 is totally the legal marijuana. I don't want to be blunt about it, but that would be dope. Number 5, Bernie is on fire. We've been feeling the burn for so long, no wonder there's global warming. Number 9 is that he is hilarious. He created Seinfeld and that other show that's like Seinfeld, but he's a star. They're not on Netflix, so I haven't seen them, but I saw the SNL version on YouTube. I LOL'd. Number 13 is that if he dies, we can just put some sunglasses on him and have the VP pretend to be him for the weekend. Number 7, he has his own dating website, BernieSingles.com. I made a profile today and I already got a great response from a 58-year-old man named Lewis who thinks I'm really smart and wants to visit me at school. Number 15, he won the global primary. I didn't even know that the whole world got to vote. Clearly a flaw in our American education system. The world has spoken and they are hashtag feeling the burn. Number 3, he's old, so senior citizen discounts for all. Unless they have a student discount and it's better, then I'm using that one. Number 3, Bernie supports the gays. And after 2 years in college and a few bi-curious party outfits, I'm leaning more toward that rainbow party. I mean, what even is the point of the Green Party? Number 420, he recorded a folk album in the 80s that my ex-friend with benefits plays all the time on our college radio station. Hillary doesn't even have a pop song, just a clan of hooker supporters. Hashtag hookers for Hillary. Number 37, Bernie's from Vermont. You know who else is from Vermont? Ben & Jerry's. His policies are as far out and delicious as fish food and Cherry Garcia, and my favorite, half-baked. Number B, he doesn't talk about Fight Club. I mean, like, look at these incredibly accurate notes from the debates. Hillary's talking about Fight Club all the time, and Bernie doesn't say jack squat. Also, in case you were wondering, I'm not a member of Fight Club, so I can say all I want about it. But the most important reason of all is that, like, all of my friends want Sanders to win, so it must be the right thing to do. Anyways, that's all I got. Vote for Bernie.
Tonight, we'll be talking about the city, San Francisco. Now, normally when we think San Francisco, we think golden bridges, stunning views, and people waiting on an earthquake that will be the big one. That all sounds really cool, but San Francisco is like the Gap. It costs way too much for what it is, and it doesn't really care about its people. The city's budget is approaching $9 billion for the next fiscal year. That comes out to $190,000 per square mile. Now, that's a lot of money for one city. The whole state of Nevada has the same budget. Think of it this way. Would you rather fund SF for a year or buy half of India unicorn head mask? Probably the mask. Harold Miller, a write-in candidate for last year's mayoral election, was even shocked by the budget, saying, "I thought it was just $1 billion. But you don't need budgetary knowledge to run a city. All you need is this video."
Crap up, build a new pier, and then when Disney comes to try to start their little boat thing, then they have some place to park. Plus, we got the mission of the blah, blah, blah.
And these budget problems have been going on for a long time. Back in 2002, the San Francisco Chronicle reported that the city had been ciphering nearly $700 million from maintaining one of the city's primary water sources into the city's general fund. This money was mostly used for the mayor's pet projects. You know, it's like your dad not paying the water bill so he can get himself a man cave that you can't even use. Thanks, Dad. And by 2002, the system was in such disrepair, voters passed a $3.6 billion bond to make repairs. The city has also had trouble with inept employees. Under the former head of the Parks and Rec Department, rec centers often didn't open because the staff didn't show up, and new rec centers were slated to be opened, but he didn't have a plan to staff any of them. And the department often didn't know where any of the staff were placed, so, you know, he was the best boss you could ask for. No one could complain because no one really worked for him. Now, he didn't get fired for doing his job poorly. He got fired for writing a letter to a female coworker that urged her to stop wearing revealing clothing so that he could get right with Jesus? All right, man. They never worked together again, so I guess you can say he got what he wanted. The biggest problem in San Francisco involves housing and tech companies such as Google, Facebook, and that other one that ends in who? Whatever. Silicon Valley, the place Christopher Walken wants to flood in a view to kill, is located 40 miles away from the city. Now, most of the people working for these companies like to think of themselves as hip, and what's more hip than trendy cafes with carrot tea and restaurants where you never have to interact with a single person. And what's less hip than San Jose? People still making Don Daniel jokes. Stop. So most of these tech employees live in the San Francisco area. This caused the median income in the city to come up to $77,000, which is about $30,000 more than the median income nationally. The average rent for a one-bedroom in the city is currently $3,500 a month. That comes out to around $42,000 a year, and that's just a one-bedroom apartment. A lot of long-term residents couldn't and still can't afford the rent spikes and are evicted from their homes. The famous Latino neighborhood, The Mission, has recently attracted large amounts of renters from the tech community. Soon, a lot of Latino owners and employees of the Mission businesses will be coming from across town or even the other side of the bay. So, if you want to buy a Trump piñata, just remember your cashier probably lives in Oakland. With rent hikes comes gentrification, and gentrification comes in many forms, like replacing an old blockbuster with a small dog park with a froyo place. One of the symbols of gentrification is the double-decker shuttle buses used by the tech companies to get their employees directly to Silicon Valley.
Every weekday morning between 7:30 and 10, dozens of big, sleek buses roll down Valencia Street.
The buses use different city bus stops to pick up riders, oftentimes slowing down an already strained public transportation system. One report stated that in a one-year period, rent went up on average 20% in areas surrounding the shuttle bus stop, making it the first time someone has said, "Oh, I just have to live next to a bus stop." Last November, the Board of Supervisors approved to make the shuttles legal and regulated as part of commuter shuttle programs. Although recently, the board has been reconsidering certain aspects of the shuttles, including adding designated hubs for pickups and drop-offs. Program Supervisor Scott Wiener said that if that happens, the program will be torn down because it'll make it harder to use. So San Francisco has to choose between the rich kids giving the city some money, but not enough money, according to one employee, or its long-term residents that still want to meet a long-dead Jack Kerouac. On the other hand, there have been some protests to these shuttle buses, and they might have gotten a little bit carried away. One protest prevented a shuttle from leaving for half an hour. One broke a bus window, and another had people dressing up as clowns. We have footage of a protester.
This bus is a symbol of a huge problem that we have no idea how to deal with. But Gilligan is bad. And evictions are bad too.
Okay, yeah, that's all we have for you tonight. So tune in next week for another edition of The Week That Was. We'll see you next week.